repurposing plastic. I'm Jared Shields. Today we take a look at how some MSU students are using a unique method to help the homeless.
High-speed internet availability may be changing in Mississippi. I'm Josh Rankin. I'm going to tell you how your internet may just get better.
Stay with me for more information on how the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is finding ways to keep and maintain a healthy heart.
The mission to find a cure. I'm Dakota Williamson. Find out how one MSU student has transformed her story of struggle into the East Center's very first nonprofit organization.
It's Super Bowl Sunday, but instead, Ben 612 is taking a trip down memory lane.
Cheers!
Super Bowl backlash. On Sunday, the New England Patriots took home the organization's 6th Super Bowl.
Jared, the game had just 100 million viewers, which was 3 million fewer than last year. And some of the people actually not watching were protesting. Take 30's Will Bailey joins us now live with why. Will?
Television ratings for the game may have been especially low in New Orleans. Leading into the game, New Orleans Saints fans aired their grievances with NFL through social media, and in pure NOLA fashion, fans of the Saints filled Bourbon Street to party in protest of a game they believed their beloved team should have been in. North of the Big Easy in our area, some people shared those same sentiments and protested in their own way.
Oh well, goodbye.
People across the nation are watching the Super Bowl today, but instead here at Ben 612, they're yelling "Who dat?" and watching Super Bowl 44. Along with watching Drew Brees lead the Saints to victory over the Colts, fans were able to enjoy New Orleans-style food, including po' boys, oyster bisque, and daiquiris. There was live music before the game and a Popey Bowl at halftime. After the NFC Championship game, owner and chef Ty Thames knew he had to do something.
We saw the play, we saw the refs, and we saw the injustice that happened. And so basically we wanted to do something to show support for the New Orleans and the Saints.
Ty wasn't the only Starkville resident to experience heartbreak in the Superdome. Rusty and Cherie Bushelon shared the emotions of a tough loss with a stadium of disappointed fans.
We were cheated. After the game, I've never seen 70,000 people so sad at one time.
While some fans coped with their emotions, others couldn't get past the blown call from 2 weeks ago.
Man, it was a roller coaster of emotions. First the no call, and then they reversed it, and it was like heaven. The Saints are going to win this. Going away. Brady, great quarterback. Saints are going to win going away. Cheers.
Back in 2010, the New Orleans Saints won Super Bowl 44 by beating Peyton Manning and the Colts 31-17.
Thank you, Will. This year's game actually ended with the Patriots over the Los Angeles Rams 13-3.
President Donald Trump gave his second State of the Union address yesterday. In his address, the president emphasized a need for cooperation and compromise between political parties. President Trump suggested the rebuilding of America's infrastructure as common ground where both parties could unite. Among other statements about immigration, the president also spoke on constructing a border wall in some areas. President Trump also announced that he would meet with North Korea's Kim Jong-un in Vietnam on February 27th and 28th. Democrat Stacey Abrams, who recently lost the race for governor in Georgia, gave the Democratic response to Trump's speech. Abrams blamed the president for the recent partial government shutdown, calling it a stunt. She said that voter suppression is real and described protecting the right to vote as the next battle for our democracy. She also talked about gun violence in schools. Abrams made history as the first black woman to give the Democratic response to the State of the Union. Just before the president's State of the Union speech, the Republican-led Senate passed a bill that criticizes the president's planned withdrawal of U.S. troops from Syria and Afghanistan. The legislation urges President Trump to keep troops in Afghanistan and Syria until the terror groups are destroyed. It also imposes new sanctions on Syria and boosts the U.S. military alliance with Israel and Jordan, both of whom are neighbors of Syria. The bill was authorized by Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. In a speech last week, McConnell said that ISIS and al-Qaeda have yet to be defeated, and American national security interests require continued commitment to our missions there.
The Southeastern Conference is making news, and it's not just for sports. According to the SEC's website, for the first time in its history, all 14 member universities have achieved elite Carnegie research status. They have been designated as doctoral universities with the highest level of research activity by the Carnegie Commission on Higher Education, and this includes MSU. According to Carnegie Commission data, fewer than 3% of all U.S. educational institutions are included in the classification, and the SEC is one of only 4 NCAA conferences with all of its members in the top category. If you live in a town, you might be surprised many Mississippians still don't have access to fast internet or even access to internet at all, Jared.
But that could be about to change. You see, Take 30's Josh Rankin explains how the state plans on bringing better internet to all areas of the state.
It's very difficult. Here in town where I work, we're okay. But I live 3 miles outside of the city limits, and we don't have internet access. We're in a difficult position because my daughter here is in the 1st grade. She'll be doing homework soon, and we need high-speed internet access.
At the current moment, Mississippi lags far behind the rest of the nation, and in broadband availability, there are locations in the state where there's high availability, but that's mainly inside of municipalities and cities in the state. But once you get outside into the more rural regions of the state, which is most of Mississippi, broadband availability is very spotty.
Quality internet service is not easy to come by in rural areas, and in Mississippi, it's recognized. Mississippi ranks in the low 40s out of 50 states when it comes to high-speed internet connectivity. But thanks to the Mississippi Broadband Enabling Act, broadband service can now be offered, and maybe a change in internet service for the people of Mississippi too. Before, the member-owned organizations known as the electric cooperatives were not allowed to offer anything but electricity thanks to a law made in 1942. But now, because of House Bill 366, electric cooperatives will now be able to offer their customers and members with high-speed internet plans.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'm envisioning down the road we'll have high-speed internet access where I can work at home also if I wanted to, and she can do her homework and so forth at the house where we don't have to come to town all the time to get onto the internet. If I have to have internet because of her schoolwork or so forth, I can suffer through the HughesNet, something like that, until we get that high-speed access. But at least it gives me some hope and something to look forward to.
With the new law, cooperatives aren't required to offer, and current customers wouldn't be required to buy service. The law allows cooperatives to invest money, loan money, or guarantee loans to affiliates, but says they can't use revenue from electric sales to subsidize broadband. And happy birthday, Facebook! The social media site just celebrated its 15th birthday. 15 years ago, Mark Zuckerberg and some of his college friends launched a website aimed at connecting their Harvard classmates online. 15 years later, that website, which we now know as Facebook, is now generating more than $55 billion in revenue, connects 2.2 billion people monthly, and employs more than 30,000 people worldwide. Stay tuned. After the break, we'll hear how some students have used an obstacle to help others.
And later, find out a way MSU students are finding creative ways to help those in need. All of that and more after the break.
A baby's arrival can be one of the most exciting times in a family's life. It can also be one of the most anxious, especially if the child's development is hindered by medical challenges that create more questions than answers. At Mississippi State University, we're groundbreakers in the study of CHARGE syndrome, a genetic condition that leads to a host of life-threatening birth defects. Our research teams are uncovering breakthroughs in treatment and prevention with a goal of greater understanding that leads to better care. We're also providing crucial support resources for parents and helping physicians around the globe gain awareness so symptoms can be detected and addressed earlier. By engaging in this innovative analysis and therapy, we're not only improving outcomes, we're unlocking brighter futures.
Where clouds are
Welcome back to Take 30 News. You may remember this boy from last year. The 10-year-old from Illinois named Mason Ramsey, or better known as the Yodeling Kid, will be at Rick's Cafe Saturday, March 23rd. As you saw, he gained a popular following after he went viral for his singing. Ramsey has performed at the mega concert Coachella, and now he'll be performing his cover of Willie Nelson's Homesick Blues, as well as other covers of country songs in Starkville, Mississippi. Doors open at 8 p.m. and the show will begin at 9 p.m. Tickets to the show will be $12 to $15 on www.rickscafe.net.
We've probably all seen some crazy tattoos, but a local tattoo artist is making an unusual mark for a good cause. Oktibbeha County Humane Society is hosting their first ever Cats and Tats event at Vintage Tattoo. There you can get a paw print or other animal themed tattoo. The shelter hopes to raise funds for the cats and dogs in their care. Amber Odell, president of the shelter's student chapter, is promoting the event.
The proceeds will benefit the shelter by helping them feed the cats and dogs that they have there, also providing medications that any of the animals will need, especially in the South, heartworms, it's very prevalent.
You can get inked this Saturday from 1 to 6 p.m. at Vintage Tattoo. Permanent tattoos will be $30 and temporary tattoos will be $5.
One Mississippi State student is transforming her story of struggle into a mission to change lives. Take 30's Dakota Williamson has the story.
At just the age of 16, Amanda Swanton's life turned upside down. She was at show choir practice when she experienced the first of 25 fainting spells lasting throughout her teenage years.
I went to every doctor you could imagine and just really tried to get diagnosed, but nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And then finally, after 14 months of really suffering and putting my family through tremendous amounts of pain, we were diagnosed with posterior orthosteric tachycardia syndrome.
Also known as POTS, this syndrome affects the nervous system, which controls the heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing.
And what doctors told me was it's the hardest thing to treat and the hardest thing to diagnose, and most people die with it. And they really didn't give me a really straightforward answer, and that to me just was unfair.
So she did her homework and found out the disease is more common than you think.
What we discovered that night when I was diagnosed is that it's just as common and just as debilitating as multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's disease combined. And a lot of people who have it have to miss school or make adaptations to their life. And that to me was just unfair.
On just her second day of being a college freshman, Amanda Swanton walked here into the Entrepreneurship Center in McCool Hall with hopes of furthering her dream of creating a nonprofit that will help lead to the cure of POTS.
85 Cure is a nonprofit organization dedicated to making advancements in research and advocacy for posterior orthosteric tachycardia syndrome, abbreviated as POTS. You know, a saying that we have at our foundation is that we can do better together, and what we mean by that is together, if we form as one, we can help really make a difference in the world, especially for those with POTS.
For more information about A85 Cure Foundation, you can visit a85cure.org. When we come back, we'll take a look at the MSU Campus Connect forecast.
And Jared, we're going to take a look at some people who have taken initiative to make a difference. All that and more when we return on Take 30 News.
It's hard to fathom. By the year 2050, Earth will be home to 3 billion more people than today. And with rising populations and dwindling resources, one of the most pressing questions is a stark one. How will we feed everyone? At Mississippi State University, we're preparing a meal table where there's a seat for all of us. As one of the nation's leading research universities, our scientists are deploying technology to enhance crop production, developing vaccines to protect aquaculture, working to boost water resources here at home and in communities around the globe. And by partnering with the League of International Universities and the United Nations, we're guaranteeing that global food security is a priority for years to come. As our world grows, so do the challenges. But when it comes to how we will feed everyone, rest assured, Mississippi State has all options on the table. In today's information age, speed and technology drive innovation and economic advantage. At Mississippi State University, our Cray supercomputer is among the fastest academic systems in the world. How fast? Wrap your mind around 593 trillion calculations per second. What can we do with a system like this? What can't we do? When NASA had safety concerns with John Glenn's shuttle mission, they turned to us. When the Navy needed a better submarine, we helped design it. We built a better, safer engine cradle for the Corvette, assisted Homeland Security with cyber strategies, and predicted severe weather patterns for NOAA. We're changing the game for supercomputing while helping protect and shape tomorrow, opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
Welcome back. We have been seeing much warmer temperatures the past few days compared to the recent weeks. Now let's take a look at our Campus Connect forecast. It seems that the warmer temperatures won't be staying for long. We have a high today of 77 and a low of 64. Tomorrow will be another warm day with a high of 78, but then dropping pretty low Friday and into the weekend. It is currently 75 degrees outside with a 69% humidity. For an updated forecast, remember to visit weather.msstate.edu. Don't let the name fool you. This year's Frostbite races were held on a pleasant and very comfortable day. Frostbite Half Marathon, 10K and 5K races took place Saturday. Brad Jones of Renaissance Bank was one of the race directors. The races were held in Starkville on Main Street. This was the bank's fourth year to organize the run. With 600 participants, the organizers say this was the most successful race so far.
Well, we've got a half marathon, we've got a 10K and a 5K, so it really just kind of opens up races for any kind of runner, novice up to somebody that wants to compete and has trained a while and wants to do the half marathon.
All proceeds from the Frostbite races were donated to United Way of North Mississippi.
Volunteers are trying to provide aid for the homeless in an interesting way. I had the opportunity to visit one of their meetings to see what it was all about. It may look like a strange arts and crafts project, but these Mississippi State students are actually working to turn these plastic bags into materials for crocheting. These volunteers cut this plastic into yarn, called plarn, that is used to create mats and pillows for the homeless. Many of the students say they enjoy being able to spend time with fellow volunteers while working to help others.
It's a good thing to do. I always come out here in fellowship, make them feel welcome, and I always offer them popcorn and things like that because they're doing it for a good cause. So it just warms my heart to see them actually volunteering and just being good people.
According to the volunteers, the actual process of turning the bags into usable mats and pillows can take a long time. Since this project began in fall of 2017, around 50 mats have been made, with each mat taking 800 to 900 bags to create. Now, the whole process starts out with a simple plastic bag like this. It gets cut down and rolled into a ball of plastic yarn, and the final product comes in the form of these waterproof pillows and mats that are distributed to the homeless. The plarn balls that are produced by the volunteers at MSU are then handed over to a group of volunteers in charge of weaving the material into mats at St. Joseph Catholic Church.
Track and field area. We hang out and talk for an hour or two, and all the while we're making something that'll bring joy to someone else.
The MSU volunteers meet Fridays in Mosley Hall from 2 to 4 p.m. St. Joseph Catholic Church hosts its volunteer night every Monday at 7 p.m. For more information on Plarn volunteer groups or other volunteer events, you can visit mvc.msstate.edu/events.
February is Heart Health Awareness Month. Take 30's Christian Carr has more information on how students are keeping their hearts healthy.
What is the leading cause of death in women in the United States? That silent killer is heart disease. That's why the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority are partnering with American Heart Association to promote healthy hearts.
Today we came out to the Chadwick Lake to walk around once or twice to emphasize heart health awareness. We asked everyone that was coming out to support to wear red also while exercising.
Heart attacks affect young adults too. That's why 40 students from Mississippi State University took time out of their day to maintain their healthy hearts.
I think it's important to exercise for me, just for overall general health and to be example to other people.
If you're passionate for donating or volunteering, you can go online at AmericanHeartAssociation.org for more information.
Now, for more information on heart health, you can visit heart.org. Don't go away. We'll be right back with Take 30 Sports after the break.
A baby's arrival can be one of the most exciting times in a family's life. It can also be one of the most anxious, especially if the child's development is hindered by medical challenges that create more questions than answers. At Mississippi State University, we're groundbreakers in the study of CHARGE syndrome, a genetic condition that leads to a host of life-threatening birth defects. Our research teams are uncovering breakthroughs in treatment and prevention with a goal of greater understanding that leads to better care. We're also providing crucial support resources for parents and helping physicians around the globe gain awareness so symptoms can be detected and addressed earlier. By engaging in this innovative analysis and therapy, we're not only improving outcomes, we're unlocking brighter futures.
I'm Chris Carr. In sports news, the MSU women's basketball team defeated the Crimson Tide this past Sunday, 65-49 in Tuscaloosa. The women's next game is this Sunday when they face the Tennessee Lady Vols at the Hump at 1 p.m. That game will be broadcast on ESPN. Former football standout Jeffrey Simmons has not been invited to the Combine due to his violent past. If you don't remember, in 2016, Simmons was charged with simple assault and disturbing the peace after a video resurfaced the internet of him punching a woman several times. Simmons, the projected top 10 pick for the NFL draft, continues to wait for his time to shine. The 2019 NFL draft is April 25th through 27th. The number 3 ranked men's tennis team defeated South Florida last week, leaving them 4-0 on the season. And the women are now 4-2 after defeating Alcorn. Be on the lookout as the women play this Saturday in a doubleheader against Alabama State at 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. And the men play Friday at Texas Tech. Mississippi State's baseball team has a new head coach to lead the Bulldogs this season, who's implemented a new system. Chris Lamanis previously coached at Louisville as a top assistant, where he helped lead the Cardinals to 3 College World Series appearances. Lamanis last held a coaching job at Indiana, where he saw success leading the Hoosiers to a 40-19 record. That's all for sports. We'll have more Take 30 after the break.
What drives you? What pushes you forward? Is it an appetite to be the best or a calling to make a difference? For those of us here at Mississippi State University, it's both. We're designing a future where cutting-edge hybrid technology isn't imported from overseas, but exported from our own backyard. We're working toward a day when solutions to energy independence move at 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds and are as simple as charging a phone. A day when fuel economy and environmentally friendly are viewed as less of a compromise and look more like this. For us, turning heads in the auto industry is great, but living up to the hype is even better. That's because it's about more than simply envisioning the future. It's about getting there. And here at Mississippi State, we know just the ride to take.
Welcome back. The horses, barrel racing, bull riding, and entertainment is back. The Dixie National Rodeo kicks off tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. and will conclude February 13th. This annual event is held at the Mississippi Coliseum in Jackson. Country music artists such as Easton Corbin, Morgan Wallen, Shenandoah, John Anderson, Dylan Scott, Cody Johnson, and former American Idol winner Scotty McCreery will be performing. Tickets can be bought online or at the door.
Mississippi State University has recently been listed as a 2019 top military-friendly school by Victory, which is an organization that evaluates schools every year based on support for student veterans. This is the second consecutive year that Mississippi State has been awarded the military-friendly gold medal. Victory's evaluation of MSU marked the university as exceeding expectations in all evaluated categories, which include culture, financial aid, military student support, retention, and academic policies.
That is all for today. We thank you for tuning in to Take 30 News. I'm Anna Elizabeth Byes.
Good night, everyone.